Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to be telling you about some important metrics in Google Ads. Now I'm going to be talking about 7 of the top metrics which I feel are really crucial for you to understand and take note of when implementing a Google Ads campaign. There are a lot more, but today I'm only going to cover the top 7. And if you do want to be kept up to date with such content, hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications button now, so that when I do create new content, you'll be the first to be notified. Impressions. Now impressions are how many times your ad has been shown on the Google network. So it doesn't necessarily mean that your ad's been clicked on, it means that how many times your ad has been shown on the Google network. So whether the users clicked on it or not is a different matter. So why is it important to understand impressions? It's important to understand impressions because sometimes they give indications as to possible external factors that might be happening, that your ads might be shown a lot less for various reasons, either due to external reasons or due to the bid strategy that you got or whatever. So it's important to keep an eye on your impressions, and if they've suddenly plummeted down, you can take a look to why your ads are not being shown as much. If they've gone up all of a sudden, hey, you might be doing something really brilliant, in which case you need to understand what is it that you're doing which has affected your ads to be shown a lot more on the Google search network. Clicks. So this nicely brings us from impressions to clicks. So whereas impressions was how many times your ad was shown on Google, clicks or interactions is how many times your ad was actually clicked on, and then the user visited your web page or so on. So again, it's important to understand how many clicks you're getting, because then you can do all sorts of calculations based on, hey, we're getting X number of clicks and we're getting Y number of conversions. So you can do various maths with it, but clicks is basically how many times somebody has clicked on your ad. Click-through rate, otherwise known as CTR. So this nicely brings us to CTR. Now, CTR is a combination of impressions and clicks. So it's just a mathematical formula which is shown as a percentage of how many times your ad was shown on Google and how many times it was clicked on. You can then do various calculations to say, hey, my ad has got a click-through rate of Y. So it could have a click-through rate of 5%, 10% or whatever. And your goal, don't forget, is to maximize your click-through rate. But you can only do that once you understand how CTR works. And CTR is basically a mathematical formula of impressions divided by the number of clicks. Average CPC, otherwise known as average cost per click. And that is essentially what is it costing you on average for every click that you get on a specific keyword. Now every keyword is going to have a different cost per click. It could vary from even like 20 pence or 20 cents up to several pounds. But if you understand this, you can then implement a strategy whereby you can say, hey, we only want to pay for clicks above this amount or below this amount or within this sort of limit. But then you can do other calculations to say, hey, these, by understanding what our average cost per click is, we can work out what our budget should be, and within our budget we can then determine how many clicks we're likely to get. So average cost per click, otherwise known as CPC, just is basically how much you're paying on average for your clicks. Conversions. Conversions is basically how many conversions you've had. So okay, you've got X number of clicks to your website, but how many of them have converted into a lead or a sale? It's important to understand this because you want to know at the end of the day, hey, I've spent this amount and I've got this many leads. So in Google Ads terms, it's known as a conversion. Last but not least, cost per conversion. And that is basically how much is it costing you to get a conversion. In other words, that how many times has a user clicked on your ad and what has been the average cost per click. So therefore, if you've got X amount of leads from it or X amount of people filling in your booking form or your inquiry form, then you can work out that for every conversion, it's costing us X amount. Yeah, so that's why it's imperative to understand what cost per conversion is and what your cost per conversion is for your particular business. And this can be at campaign level, ad group level, or even keyword level. As a bonus, I think it's also worthwhile understanding what your conversion rate is. Now, I love to look at conversion rates, because by looking at conversion rates, you can then do some maths to say, hey, you know, for this particular ad group or this particular campaign, it's converting really well. So I'm getting a lot of conversions for it. So the amount of money I'm spending compared to the amount I'm spending, I'm getting a high number of conversions. So therefore, this could be a good campaign which I want to push further or invest into further, as opposed to some campaigns whereby you might be paying a lot of money but getting less conversions. In other words, your conversion rate could be a lot less, so you might want to limit the amount of budget that goes into those campaigns. So guys, I hope you found that useful, but in the meantime, feel free to download my Google Ads ebook. Simply visit ppcebook.com and you'll be able to download an ebook whereby it shows you how to build a Google Ads campaign from scratch. It's a guide. It's got a full checklist in it, and you'll find it incredibly valuable, because when you start creating your Google Ads campaigns, you know that you're building them correctly from day one in order to minimize any wastage that you might have in terms of costs. So guys, hope to see you soon. Take care. Goodbye.